Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice for Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at the best new budget decks that are coming around in Battle Styles. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Battle Styles is out now. We've talked about the best new decks, and there are some really strong new decks coming. But we need to take a look now at the best budget decks. These are decks that aren't using many Pokemon Vs, are not using V Maxes. You're still probably going to have to play stuff like Crobat, for instance, for a little bit of extra consistency. But these are going to be decks which are going to be very much on the cheaper end and generally revolve around single prize Pokemon. Now, I want to give a shout out as we start here to Orbeetle, because I don't know what the Orbeetle deck looks like. I know I love Orbeetle, and I know that I want this to be a new deck, and I very much hope that it will be, but I don't know what it looks like. So for one energy, for each energy attached to this Pokemon, that is energy not energy card, you search your deck for a non-Orbeetle Stage 2 and put it onto your bench. So what you do is you evolve this up, and then maybe you attach a triple acceleration energy and start searching for Stage 2s and going a little bit nuts, and you can use whatever Stage 2s you like. I've not seen anyone making a deck around this that really seems to work. So I'm not really putting it on as a, hey, here is a specific deck about which you should be getting rather excited. But I absolutely am saying that there is a deck in here somewhere. I'm just not entirely sure what that deck is. My apologies. So I think we need to get a little bit excited about Cherrim. Now, Cherrim has got the kind of ability which, frankly, wins the World Championships. It lets you attach as much grass energy as you like to any Pokemon you like that doesn't have a rule box, which is a big caveat. And we've seen versions of this win worlds with Blastoise and with Emboar. This is the kind of ability that wins the World Championships. The question for Cherrim is, well, alright then, who's your partner? Who are you playing with Cherrim? And I basically have got two options for you, by far the most fun of which is Maractus. Now, Maractus, for a minimum 2 energy, says you flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon, and you do 60 damage for each heads. And we've seen people in the past play Maractus with Porygon Z. I've made a video about that. But Cherrim is a better partner. I mean, sure, you miss out on some of those fancy special energy like Recycle Energy, although you can just play them as well. You just can't attach them all at once. But you're just talking a bunch of basic energy, and you just get to attach it, and you're off, and you are rolling. You need to use Glimwood Tangle. That lets you reflip, so if you don't flip as many heads as you'd like, you get to reflip. Though remember that Glimwood Tangle is all or nothing, so you can't just reflip your tails. If you get 3 and you wanted 4, you got to reflip, and it could come out as 1 or 2. That is an option. That is a possibility. It's sad. We hope it doesn't happen, but it could. But the point is, this seems like a fun deck. It does seem like a weaker version of Porygon Z with Cramorant V Max, and I do need to mention that straight off the bat, and I'm sorry. But as a cheaper single prize version of it, I kind of like this. The only other really good partner I think we've got for Cherrim, and I wouldn't be surprised to see both of these played in the same deck, is the Tapu Bulu that came around in Battle Styles. For free energy, you do 80 damage, and you may discard all energy from this Pokemon, and if you do 160 damage instead, which is clearly a decent amount of damage. That clearly works quite nicely indeed. You do have to keep replenishing the energy, which can be a bit of a pain, but this can get up to big numbers very quickly. It revolves around a stage 1 and a basic Pokemon. I think this is one you have to take a little bit seriously. Now, one which I desperately want to work, and I'm not sure if it will, but I'm going to mention it here because I do think there is a chance, is Kingdra. And Kingdra's one of those Pokemon that caught everybody's eye when it was first revealed. It's got an ability which is kind of like an infinite EXP share. So EXP share says that if the active gets KO'd, you get to move 1 energy from the active to the Pokemon with EXP share. Well, Kingdra says while your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, i.e. if it's knocked out by damage counters, ability, special conditions, etc., it wouldn't work, which needs to be borne in mind. You may move any amount of water energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. And bear in mind, right, that means that no matter how much energy you've got on a Kingdra, when that Kingdra goes down, and you're talking 150 HP single prize, so it's not that easy to KO, and even when it is, you only lose one prize, but you get to move all of that energy to another benched Kingdra. So if I get 6 energy on a Kingdra, that goes down. I've now got 6 energy on one of my bench, and then I've maybe got 8 or 9, and then that goes down, but then I've got 8 or 9 on a new bench Pokemon. See where I'm going with this? This can build up very, very quickly indeed. Now, it's a stage 2 and that's a pain. Probably should tell you about the attack though, shouldn't I? 40 damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if I've got 6 energy on there, I'm doing 240 damage. And yeah, fine, it's a pain getting the energy on, but the energy stays unless your opponent can knock you out using something other than damage, which will wreck your day. But then you just get to keep that energy. So as long as you can keep getting Kingdra into play, you never have to worry about the energy, not unless your opponent can knock you out without damage, well, from an attack, because each Kingdra just powers up the next. How do you get the initial damage? Well, we're clearly thinking Frostmoth here. We're also thinking a stage 1 and a stage 2, so it's not ideal, but Frostmoth lets you attach as much water energy during your turn as you like. Another reason why Cherrim looks like it might be decent, because Frostmoth certainly is. And this looks like it could have a real chance. Also, if you do lose all of your energy, do remember that Nessa is a thing. Nessa lets you grab 4 in any combination of water Pokemon and water energy from your discard pile and put them into your hand, and then you can reattach with Frostmoth. That is something to bear in mind. This might end up being a stage 2 that never goes anywhere, and if it is, it is. But I really do think there is an absolute chance here that this could be a little bit of a monster deck. And I, for one, am thoroughly, unabashedly into it. Now, the one that's probably seen the most hype in terms of a deck from the set, and it's one of those things, right? We got 2 cards in the same set, it's Weepinbell Salazzle, I should say, that very obviously work together. Weepinbell's got the ability Dangerous Mucus. When you play it from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon burned and poisoned. And then you've got Salazzle coming in with Derisive Roasting, great attack name, horrible Pokemon. Well, generally the card's pretty good. 90 damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active. So if you can get 3 special conditions on there, that's 270, that's Tag Team GX KOing territory. What are we thinking about in terms of the 3rd special condition? Personally, I'm thinking Yellhorn and I'm thinking Confusion. Koga's Trap would work nicely as well. Remember, you can't combine things like Sleep and Paralysis, it's one or the other, same with Confusion. So once you've got Burn and Poison on there, you're looking for one other, and I think Yellhorn and Koga's Trap really are the best ways to go about it. So I would go for that. Do remember that Level Ball will get any Pokemon with 90 HP or less, and Salazzle's got 90 HP and Weepinbell's got 80 HP, so Level Ball being able to grab your evolved Pokemon actually gives you a really rather nice extra amount of consistency here, more than you would usually expect in a deck like this. So that's rather lovely. And do remember that Salazzle's not really doing 270. It's 270 plus the poison damage plus the burn damage. And if you're confusing them, they've got to go ahead and flip heads if they want to attack. Otherwise, they're missing attacks while you're doing high damage. You've got both Twin Energy and Triple Acceleration. Though do remember Triple Acceleration will be lost to the rotation. So we got plenty of ways to pay the energy attachment. And this, you're talking 2 stage 1s, huge damage. I like this. This is going to be a super annoying deck to play against, but if you play it right and build it right, this has the potential to be a really good rogue deck. But my very favourite among them, and it's actually my favourite deck from Battle Styles, generally, budget or otherwise, it's Mienshao. I adore Mienshao. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have been testing Mienshao a lot. Since Battle Styles went on to PTCGO, I've got my demo account now. It makes things rather easy. It means I can just make these decks and go. So literally from day one, I've been testing Mean Xiao. And the results have been mixed, shall we say. Now, Mean Xiao's got a really nice attack for 2 energy that does 90 damage plus confusion and shuffles Mean Xiao and all cards attached to it into your deck. But remember that we've also got Rapid Strike energy here, so it's essentially a single energy attachment, which is pretty gosh darn good, and then you're doing 90 plus confusion, and then your opponent is constantly having a flip for confusion. Oh yeah, what are you putting active? You're putting Lily's Pokédoll active. Because Lily's Pokédoll is an item card that you play as a Pokemon which doesn't give up a prize when KO'd. So now your opponent has got to flip a coin just to not take a prize. They can use Boss's Orders to go after your bench, but they've got to use Boss's Orders and flip heads on confusion just to try and get a prize. Now, it can be kind of awkward, because you really need a Mean Xiao and 2 Mean Fu out at all times. Because one of them, when you attack, is going back to your deck. So if you've only got 1 Mean Fu left, your opponent can Boss's Orders, KO it, and you ain't attacking next turn. Unless you play Rapid Strike Mustard, which will work. It will get you your evolved Pokemon straight onto the bench. But it's got to be the only card in your hand, and it's doable. I've done it. I've done it a few times. But shall we say it is absolutely not something that you should really be relying on, I think is probably a polite way to put it. You have also obviously got Octillery. Now, Octillery, no matter how many you've got out, you can only use 1 during your turn. But that will allow you to search for a Rapid Strike card, whether that is Energy, Supporter, Pokemon, whatever. And I love me some Octillery. But honestly, the biggest problem I found with a deck is your bench basically always, or your setup always needs to be 3 Mean Xiao / Fu, 1 Octillery, 2 Lily's Pokédoll, or else things can get pretty gosh darned awkward. Also, 90 damage doesn't free hit KO V maxes, unless they're weak. And you are hitting a really good weakness, incidentally. But that means that there are going to be too many games that your opponent can keep switching or retreating, and that is going to be a little bit of a problem. There's work to be done, I think, to turn it into a top-tier deck, but the potential is here. I don't think any of these decks are world-beating decks. I don't think any of them are going to be challenging for huge tournament results in the very near future. But there's certainly some potential here, and these are ones you should be aware of and having a little bit of testing. But I want to know what you think about these. I want to know which of these you think are good. I want to know which ones you are in on. And I want to know if you think any of them are overrated. I want to know if you think there are any decks that should have been in this video but weren't. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.